You guys, welcome. For those of you who know me, I'm in Bali. I'm at my house right now, about to eat this beautiful dragon fruit. I also wanted to hop on here just to have a little chat. And also, I know some of you guys are new to following me and may or may not know a lot about me. And I'm realizing I haven't really updated my people on who I am and why I do what I do and just a little bit about me. So I just wanted to hop on here and share, and maybe y'all can ask me questions if you're curious about anything, what I do as a performance coach, as an author, my life in Bali. So I just wanted to open up the chat here. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for joining. So anyway, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, but before I do, I want to tell you the fruits in Bali are something else. These are so good. The fruits in Bali are just so good for you. They're so abundant, like they're everywhere. And oh my God, it's like one of my favorite parts about being here. But yeah, just wanted to have a little bit of chat. For those of you who know, or maybe not know, hey, welcome. I currently live in Ubud, Bali, and I've been here for about a year. Fell in love with this place the first time I came here about 4 or 5 years ago now. Love it here. Hey, welcome Denise. It's been a while. And I'll wait a little bit as people are still hopping on and whatnot. But basically, I've been a coach for the last couple years now. Hey there, about 5 years, and I wanted to share a little bit about my story, as I don't think a lot of people know why I do what I do, how I ended up in Bali, how I chose to be in Bali, and why I love Bali. I mean, it is a beautiful, beautiful island. So yeah, I'll wait just a little bit longer as people are still signing on. Hey guys, if you don't mind sharing, please let me know where you guys are coming in from. Or if you have any questions for me, feel free to also share. I'll be going on over a few things in just a little bit. But while I wait, I'm just eating this dragon fruit. This is my breakfast. Actually, today it is Kuningan, which is a holiday in Bali. So one of the homeowners here came and blessed the heck out of my house, which was really sweet. So feeling extra blessed today. They gave me like a whole bag of like snacks. It was so sweet. And I think, one of the things I love about Bali is the people here. They're just super kind, just super giving. So anyway, I'll finish this in a little bit. So anyway, guys, I almost lost all you. This is my place right now. Welcome. Hey, welcome. I just want to share a little bit about myself and my story, because I think some of you guys are new to following me. Not everybody really knows my story. So, there's a lot of different things that has led up to, for me to do what I do. So as a performance coach, what I really do is I work with different kinds of entrepreneurs and high performers who are feeling burnt out, who are feeling stuck, who are feeling no longer that like passion or joy for life. Like they may be successful, they may be, doing all the things that they're supposed to be doing, but they're not really feeling lit up about life, and they're not feeling alive, and they feel like something's missing, even though they might have the success, they might have all the things that people think would make you happy. I also work with different kinds of people who might be going from like an employee to an entrepreneur. I've also worked with highly successful people who are fairly happy, very successful, but also they're looking to really go deeper in themselves and create a connection to their own spirituality. So those are the kinds of people I typically work with. A little bit about my story. I'm about to get a little bit vulnerable, so here we go. So a couple years ago, it was so up until 2018, I worked in just really a corporate environment. I was living in Orange County. I was in corporate for 10 years in different kinds of jobs. And honestly, I loved all my jobs. Like, well, maybe not all of them, most of my jobs. And I was good at what I did and making comfortable, good money. And this was right after my dad has passed away after 2.5 years of battling with cancer. And at that point, I really started to have a different perspective in life and what really life is. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I really grew up thinking that there was a formula, at least in my little reality that I lived in. Success looked like you go to school, you do well in school, you get a job and you work there for 50 years and you retire and die. I thought this was a good life. And that is a good life for some people, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But I never felt super authentic about it. So for me, after that happened, I decided that I really wanted to do something that really lights me up. Hi, Beth. Hi, Victor. Welcome. And so I quit my corporate job that was really comfortable, that really gave me the safety and the comfort. But at that time, my human driver was changing. So Tony Robbins talks about this. There's 6 different human drivers. So there's safety or certainty, uncertainty, recognition, love and connection, growth, and contribution. For me, it was really moving from safety and certainty, like knowing that everything was going to be safe, to going into this realm of uncertainty and love and connection and contribution and growth. So I was kind of moving into a whole different chapter in my life. So yeah, that was shifting massively, and especially when you experience death, and obviously most of us don't actually experience death on a personal level, meaning like you don't die and come back for the most part. But for me, losing my dad before my eyes really affected me about like what living is, what dying is. Like, I don't think you can really understand what living is until you have experienced what dying is. For me, that was the case, and I know that's the case for a lot of people. So yeah, for me, after seeing my dad towards the end of his life and really realizing that even for me, I'm going to have an expiration date, which we all know logically, but do you think about this every day? I mean, for me, this is why I love yoga, by the way, ironically, because it reminds me of death. Because I don't know, I know this sounds dark, but it's actually really not. I think it's so powerful to understand and create a beautiful relationship with death so that you can live fully and you can live courageously. So every yoga class, for those of you who've ever taken yoga, every yoga class ends with Shavasana, which in English, they call it the corpse pose, which really represents death. It's a reminder that, every practice I do, you start out with child's pose, and you go all the way to actually fetus pose almost, and then you go to Shavasana, which is a corpse pose, and then you go into fetus pose, and then you come back, which actually represents that whole life cycle. And that's one thing I love about yoga. Every single time I do yoga, I am reminded that I'm gonna die one day. And that really makes me want to live fully. That makes me want to speak my heart. That makes me want to tell people I love them whenever the F I want, whenever the F I can. Even if it's weird, even if it's awkward, I don't care, because for me, I know that everyone's life, of course my dad's passing was somewhat predicted because he, was declining slowly, but really, we never knew when that day was going to be, and neither did anyone who's ever passed on. You don't know. I mean, some of y'all's, I hate to say it, but you just never know if this is your last day or if it's somebody that you love's last day. And I don't mean to be morbid, but what would life look like if you get to really fully lean into that and remember that every moment? What would you say to them if you knew that this was going to be their last day or your last day? And knowing that you don't know, why aren't we living to the fullest, sharing what's on our heart as much as we can, and This is just like the way that I chose to live. And it's living with my heart on my sleeves like that is not easy sometimes. You know, people are not used to it. They get triggered by it. They think I have like some ulterior motive. My ulterior motive is that I just want to know that I've done everything in my power to express the love I have or whatever's authentic to me each day, and hope that that intention is received. So anyway, with that said, so for me, even though I had this comfortable job, I was making good money, I was not happy. So after my dad passed away, I kind of went on this adventure to really discover what else is out there. I decided that I love painting, and I don't know if for some of you guys who've been following me for a long time, you guys do know that I went through this like whole artist phase where I was selling my art and I was getting commissioned for art, which was, you know, just, hi Julie, good to see you, which is wild because I actually have never been trained officially in art. Both my parents were actually trained in art and they never sold a painting. And here I was, having never been trained in art and selling my art like across the world, and it was wild. But that really gave me the perspective, like I get to be whoever I want to be. And at that time I thought I was old and that was like 5 years ago. And you know, I think age and where we are in life is all just a matter of perspective anyway. So that really gave me the courage to go for what I am really passionate about, which is I love humans. I love seeing the transformation in humans. I love standing and being an advocate for what's possible for humans because I think it's endless. I was actually talking to somebody the other day, having an initial consult with somebody, and I was just telling her, you know, for me, I wake up hoping that I can live until I'm 500 because I just feel like there's just, this whole world was made for us. This whole world was made so that we can discover who we are, learn more things, experience more things. And, you know, I have so many books I want to read. I have so many things I want to try. Like, I wish I could live until I'm 500 years old. And like my genuine love for life is just so deep that I just like wish I could just get the most out of it every single day. Anyway, I kind of went on a tangent. But, so for me, when I, started selling my art, I realized I can do so much. I can do anything I put my mind to. And as cliche as that sounds, not a lot of people actually take advantage of that fact. So I started selling my art. I started a yoga fit apparel line, which was called Live Shape, for those of you who remember. I was doing that for a while, and I love yoga, still to this day. So that was a really fun business for a while. But what I was really passionate about was helping people on a deeper level, really making a stand for what's possible for people and transformation for people, and knowing that they have the ability and the resources all around to create whatever life that they want at any single time, any given time. And helping people really create the mindset, the emotional and spiritual and physical abilities so that they can actually create these things in their life in the way that feels good for them. So that was 5 years ago, and now, I've done a lot of things. I was reflecting the other day. I've written my book called Creating Your Own Happiness. I've co-published in 12 other books, and that's a whole different story because I got to co-publish with some of my people that I was really inspired by many years ago. I've spoken on stages. I have so many of these like manifestation stories for every step of the way. And I remember when I started this journey a long time ago, I sat down and wrote down what I feel would be my ideal life. And I remember specifically saying, I want to wake up somewhere tropical and warm and in this beautiful house where there's a beautiful bathtub and a beautiful view. There's people all around. I feel so good. People are excited to live and they're excited about life just as much as I am. And all of these things have started to come true. And this is like where I'm at today. So this is my Bali life here. And I'm just so grateful every single day. But let me tell you, there was a time when I was starting to write all this down that felt absolutely crazy, unattainable, unreasonable. Just like, who am I to achieve this? How would I ever achieve this? Like, it just felt completely out there. Like, it did not sound real, even though like, yeah, I'm just doing this exercise to, write down what my ideal day is, ideal life is, because, my coach at the time was telling me to do it. But I don't know if at the time I fully even believed that was possible for me. So when I stand for people's possibilities and transformation, I come from a place knowing that it's possible because it's happened to me so many times, over and over and over again. And every single time I took a courageous action towards what I think is tuning into my version of ideal life, it was equally scary, it was equally awkward, and it's supposed to be awkward. I mean, some of my clients know this. Like, whenever we do something outside of our comfort zone or what we're used to, it's supposed to be awkward. It's like you trying on a different neural pathway in your brain, trying a different behavior, trying on a different belief, and actually acting that out. It's gonna feel weird and supposed to feel weird. So if it feels weird, the more things you feel a little bit awkward about is probably a sign that you're living a life where you're constantly putting yourself outside of your comfort zone, which is where growth is. So every single time I did that, like, I just gained a new perspective about, what's possible, what I'm capable of. My confidence grew. So yeah, it's just been a good journey. I'm kind of going off a little bit of tangent all over the place. Hey guys, welcome. Where are you guys joining in from? Would love to hear from you. Let me know where you guys are joining from, what you're grateful for today, any questions you have for me. Would love to answer. So anyway, that's kind of like my life journey, and I intend to kind of break these stories down a little bit more. And I can absolutely start to share more of these things because I'm realizing, a lot of people have gone through, most people underestimate how their mind works as a mindset. Yes, absolutely. And it's powerful. Like, it all starts from the mind. Like, everything that I manifested in my life started with a little tiny thought, and then it grew into something amazing, and it grew into this reality, but it had to grow little at a time sometimes. Like, you put that seed out there. I said I want to live in the jungle. I said I wanted to live somewhere tropical. I said I want to do what I love, set my own hours, and be my own boss, help people, change lives. All of this sounded crazy back in the day. But once you plant that seed, it starts to grow, and then you're like, well, maybe it's possible. Well, maybe I could do that. Well, how could I do that? How can I create that? And then your brain starts to help you look at the resources in your life and start to attract the right things, right people, right connections. And it starts to slowly snowball from there. And mindset is absolutely important. Here's the thing. I have had a heart-to-heart with homeless people. I've had a heart-to-heart with multimillionaires. People are all the same to an extent. And we think, of course, I do believe that there is like that bottom line where people will definitely and absolutely feel more safe to be more of their authentic self, have more chances at happiness and whatnot, so that they actually start out from that good foundation of feeling safe. But at the end of the day, people are all capable of feeling the same emotions. And sometimes most of the time actually, has no correlation to what it looks like from the outside. And it is all about the mindset, because you could be so materialistically abundant, you can have all the things, and you can still be unhappy. I've also seen people who don't have that much, and they're absolutely happy. I mean, unfortunately, like when I walk around Bali, there's very abundant people, like materialistically, and there's also people who aren't. And though, let me tell you something. Some of these people are the happiest, the kindest, most trusting, most loving, most caring people I've ever met in my life. Because they're abundant in other things. They're abundant in giving. They're abundant in the connections, the community, the family members, the love that they have. And they're able to feel that joy, feel that genuine fulfillment every day. They humble me every single day. I mean, my villa manager just gave me a whole bag of snacks, and I don't know how abundant they are or not, and I can tell you, that doesn't always happen in America, no matter how abundant they are, and just the fact that they took the time to knock on my door, give me these blessings, give me this gift, hoping that I just have a better day because they're in the practice of giving. It's so beautiful to me. A little bit about Bali, by the way. Bali is obviously in Indonesia. For those of you who don't know, Bali is also one of the only areas in Indonesia that is Hindu. So a lot of the other areas are not, and they're Muslims, and here they mostly are Hindus. And I don't know, something about Hinduism is just so beautiful to me. A lot of the things I practice without like any labels of religion, I feel like align very, very much with Hinduism. So I love that. I mean, they believe that helping people, being kind, putting out that energy is going to come back to them in hundredfolds in different ways. And I think it's true because these are some of the happiest, kindest people I've ever met. And I believe the same. You know, sometimes we do nice things, and of course we don't do it with the intention of like, oh yeah, I want something back. But it's almost like practicing that trust that it is going to come back, of course. And that's not the reason I'm doing it. And it feels good to be in that energy, knowing that the universe will always get me. So they practice that, they embody that, and they humble me, they teach me every single day just by interacting with them. This is kind of a random story. Somebody asked me the other day, like, what was an example of someone who's a Balinese being kind and humbling me or teaching me about kindness. And this story came to mind. So when I was this was like second month into it, and you know we have a heavy rainy season here. When it started raining, I was on my motorbike. It started pouring, and I didn't have like a raincoat ready at the time because I just didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know what to do. So I pulled over. I mean, I was already kind of soaked. But anyway, I pulled over, and I was just looking kind of lost, to be honest. I'm like, what do I do? I guess I just have to wait it out. This girl in front of this little tiny market, like a family market somebody clearly owns, she was looking at me, and she sees me just getting super wet on my motorbike, and I pulled over under a little roof thing. She goes, come here. She's probably like 8 or 9. And I'm kind of like, oh, okay. So I walk over there, and she was like, she starts taking off her raincoat. And I was like, no, that's okay. Or I'm happy to pay for it or whatever. And she's like, no, here you go. I think you need it. And in that moment, I realized, like, I was so touched because I don't think that would have happened in America. And I don't want to make it into a comparison. I know there's so many kind people in America as well in so many ways. And it was just like a different level of kindness that I hadn't felt in a while in other parts of the world. So I said, thank you, really practicing receiving. You know, part of receiving the abundance and the gift and the blessings from the universe is practicing receiving. So I said, thank you so much. And I looked at the mom, and I was like, are you sure? I don't, you know, I would be happy to pay for this. She's like, no. And I was like, okay. So that actually inspired me to reach out to an orphanage here, which, by the way, there aren't true orphans in Bali in a lot of sense because community takes care of the kids and each other. But anyway, there's like a semi-orphanage here where I went. I brought a group of people, and we spent some time with them, brought them a ton of gifts, and it was really fun. But anyway, so I guess my thing is, like, in that moment, Bali really taught me about kindness, and then of course it like led me to do other things that bred kindness. And yeah, it's just a magical place in that way. So anyways, hey you guys, I am kind of going off on so many tangents. If you have any questions for me, do let me know. Or if you have any comments about what I'm saying, any questions about mindset, about Bali, about my travels, about my life as a digital nomad, about my book or anything like that, feel free to message me now or message in the chat. I'm happy to answer. Hi, Cal. So anyways, that's kind of like my morning random chat. I just wanted to share that with you guys. And yeah, my intention is to come on here more and just share so many things I'm learning from Bali just by being here, and just share more about myself, because it's been a while since I think I've updated some of the newer followers who I am, what I do, where I came from, what's my story, and so on. Hi, Kel. So Kel is one of my friends here. Oh my gosh, she's such a goddess. That's another thing. I think Bali has blessed me with so many beautiful friendships and connections that are just so aligned with my heart. A lot of us are in a similar kind of life path of service, as well as a lot of us have done, we're not perfect by any means, but we have done a lot of inner work, and it really just creates a lot of harmony and peace in my life that I like. Hi, Mime. How are you? Mime is my friend from Korea. He's a badass back in Korea. I got to see him last time I was in Seoul, which was in December, and was it no, it was just last time, so a few months ago, like 2 months ago. Hope you're well. But anyways, hi. Oh my gosh, now all my friends are joining. I was about to end it, but now all these faces are popping up. Hi, Jimmy. Happy belated birthday. I know it's been a couple weeks already, but thinking of you. Hi, Greg. Hi, Miguel. So good to see you guys. I love this emoji, by the way. That's like one of my favorites. Very Asian. Very Asian. How wild is it, by the way, that I'm living in Asia? For those of you who don't know, I was born in Korea, moved to America as a first-generation immigrant when I was 11 years old, got my green card, got my citizenship, so my passport now is still the U.S., but I lived in Korea during COVID, kind of fell in love with being in Asia in general. I always knew I would live in Bali at one point, so I'm back in Asia, which is so wild, because if you would have asked me 10 years ago, like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I don't think I would have said Asia. So it's wild what 10 years can do, right? And so many changes can happen. But anyway, so I'm just kind of chatting. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I was just sharing that it's Kuningan here, which is Kuningan, which is Balinese holiday, and I got a bunch of blessings and feeling really blessed and happy and grateful. So I just wanted to share this energy with you guys. Hello, good to see you. So anyways, what other questions do you guys have for me? Hi, Soren. Great to see you. I'm actually supposed to chat with Leonard in just a bit. So good to see you. Thank you, Beth. Bethany is my spiritual mentor / psychic / medium in San Diego. She's amazing. Reach out to her. Bethany Psychic Healer. She's right there. So for those of you who's watching, if you've been called to get a reading of any sort, she is such a light. Hi, Rem. Rem is also my friend in Bali. It's so cool. Like, I just feel so blessed to know all of these people from all around the world. Soren is a freaking like K-pop / Southeast Asia / Asia star. I'm so blessed to meet her. By the way, I love that story. I mean, one day I was just sitting here, and this is another sign or another example of how kindness really breeds kindness. I was having a moment. I just started remembering all these moments that these amazing women, and men too, men are amazing too, but specifically this reflection was for women in my life who didn't even know me at the time. And they were so kind and abundant, like mindset wise, that they just decided to gift me things randomly with nothing in, not expecting a thing. And I just remember Soren, and she's like a very well-known singer. Had the honor of meeting her. And the first day I met her, it was like late night. We were having a chat at one of our friends, and she was like ordering burgers and stuff. She's like, "Yo, do you want something?" And I was like, "Sure." And then she ordered me a burger, and I just like thought that was so sweet. I remember everything. Whenever anyone gives me anything, I'm just so grateful. I remember everything, and that just like makes me so happy and want to be even like more of a giving person. And yeah, so anyway, again, I'm going off kind of a tangent. What lessons did you learn from traveling to different countries? That's a really great question. Oh my gosh, Bali is a very global city. I love Bali because it's a global city without the big city vibe, meaning like no big tall buildings. It still has like its tradition, but there's people from literally all around the world, which I really appreciate. The thing, I think one of the biggest things, and this is something that I practice anyway, but specifically from traveling, specifically from being in a global city like Bali, is that never assume anything about anyone, about what's normal for them, what's normal. There is no normal. That's one thing I already know, but you feel it to a whole new level when you start to meet people from all different backgrounds, all different cultures, all different languages, all different mindsets. Like, so I never assume anything. I go in with complete curiosity, as if I don't know anything about that person, because I don't. But our mind can often create all these layers of assumptions and stereotypes and judgments about that person based on how they look, how they sound, how they dress, and so on. And it's not good or bad, because this is a mechanism that's built into ourselves so that we can technically protect ourselves. And I do also believe, and I've been having a lot of discussions around this topic of trust, I do also believe that when we are in our heart, when we are connected to this collective consciousness and love that is the energy that connects all of us, we can really lean into trust and know that we can have something common with everyone in the world. I mean, we're actually very similar. We're not that different. We're actually very similar from all around. Yes, well, so I am involved with Psych2Go. I'm not doing active live streams right now. And yes, I am involved with Psych2Go. And then, so going back to the question really quickly, what lesson did I learn? I lean in with each person as if I am about to read the most amazing storybook every single time. And because of that, I feel like I learn so much from each person that I meet. It's wild. Like, you wouldn't believe the things that people, when they feel safe to share, what they share and what you can learn from them. And for me, that's been one of the lessons. Somebody once asked me, like, do you feel like when you meet people, because of what you do, because you work with humans, because you study humans, study psychology, study human behavior, like you're able to just see like what they're like at a glance? And I said, I have these certain frameworks, but actually the reason I think I'm good at what I do is because it's the literal opposite. I never assume anything. I go in with complete curiosity about each person, and therefore I'm able to learn things that people would have missed because they're creating all these judgments or layers about who they are. While they're doing that, I'm actually leaning in to like really understand who that person is in front of me without any judgment. And that takes practice, because we have a lot of layers that are automatic that pop up, and we want to make these judgments. We think that keeps us safe, but in fact, I think nowadays it keeps us less safe than, and it keeps us separated. It keeps us not connected, and so on. So, yeah, one lesson that I would share about traveling all around is that everyone is different, completely different, and everyone's the same. Like, when it comes down to our DNA, we're probably way more similar than we ever think. And to lean in with each human with an open heart and complete trust, because I believe I'm continuing to talk to each human as if I'm manifesting the best, highest versions of each person, and I talk to that person as much as possible. Of course, I'm human, I'm not perfect, but that is what I'm essentially creating. And about Psych2Go, yes, so Psych2Go and we are very much aligned in our missions to eliminate stigma and also advocate for mental health. So yes, I've been working with their teams for a while. Right now I'm involved, but not actively involved. So to answer your questions, what other questions do you guys have? What other lessons did I learn from traveling to all these countries? I mean, one thing I want to say is please travel. The world is so big and there's nothing right or wrong if you decide not to. Of course, everyone has a different life path, and there's nothing right or wrong about that. And I think it just enriches who we are. Hi, Shin. What's up? How are you? Shin is one of my friends from Korea, and he's a badass entrepreneur, super driven. He owns this modeling agency in Korea, and had the honor of meeting him back in the day on some adventures. But yeah, so anyways, I wanted to just hop on and say hello and yeah, just chat with you guys. My intention is to hop on here a little bit more in the next couple weeks. Yes, I am. Yes. We'll have to catch up. It's been a while. Anyways, getting distracted here. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I mean, I'm just saying hello. Just wanted to share a little bit about myself. If you guys were on this chat or on this live stream and you have questions for me, feel free to DM me. Feel free to let me know about or any questions you have about my book, about what I do as a performance coach, about my lifestyle, about Bali, about traveling, about being a digital nomad, about working for myself, about working with high achievers and entrepreneurs, and what that's like, how I help people moving from stress to really owning their power. Feel free to let me know. Yeah, traveling is good because traveling is not telling us how to think. Internet and TV news, in my opinion. Yes, and this is one thing I do want to say. If you're not traveling actively right now, you can create that experience everywhere, anywhere, wherever you are. It's just a matter of perspective and choice and intention. Like, for example, if you think about wherever you are, there's people from somewhere else in the world that would be so excited to go to your town. Think about that. Like, it's interesting living in Bali because sometimes people remind me even more, like, how could I forget? But like when you get into a routine, it's easy to forget. But think about where you're living. There's so many cool things in your city. Wherever you are, there's people who probably have saved up all their lives, or for many years at least, just to come to your town too. And so if you can like really look at your world with that perspective and say, what would I do today as a tourist, and go do that thing, you would be surprised how much that can change what it feels like to be in your town. You can be traveling even within your own city. Like I remember I did this once. I love little social experiments. So I remember my friend and I, this was back in the day when I used to live in Newport Beach, and we were like, let's pretend. We won't tell anyone, but let's actually just pretend that we are traveling through here and just have that energy. Like, let's see what that does. And what we ended up doing was we were at a party just down the street from where we lived at the time, but we pretended and we were just more free. We were dancing. We were just more socializing. We had this energy of like a traveler. People were coming up to us at this party being like, where are you guys from? You have this energy, like you feel so free. You must be having so much fun on this trip. And we're like, we live down the street. Meaning that energy that people see can actually be channeled anywhere, anytime, if you choose to. The reason that traveling is good on a neuroscientific perspective is that it creates different neural pathways because you're coming out of that routine. You can create that sensation, you can create that experience just by switching up which hand you use to brush your teeth. Just by switching up the road that you take. Just by switching up like where you go every day, and just like go take a detour, even if it takes longer. Just by slowing down, just by paying attention to different things, just by meeting different people or putting yourself in a situation that feels unfamiliar. So like here, for example, my friend just hopped on. Oh my God, you've done so many things. You've started a business, you became a comedian in the last couple years that I've watched you. And there's so many things that you can do within your own area without even traveling. Create that experience of traveling. So that's also available. So Anyway, that's my little rant about traveling and why that's good. And traveling is absolutely great. If you think about it, I mean, there's such, like, the whole earth is ours, you guys. Like, you can live wherever you feel good. I mean, like, I know that sounds so cliche, but it's true. Like, you don't have to live where you were born. We live in an era where we can literally live in most places. And we can literally go pick where we want to create our life. Don't ever forget that. I just cannot believe I wake up here. Like, I wake up in a place that I wanted to wake up, and it is the coolest feeling because I just love this. And every morning I'm kind of like in awe before I start the day. I'm like, I cannot believe this is my view. I cannot believe this is my life I created. And this is available for anyone, really. The whole earth has so many different kinds of weather. There's so many different landscapes. There's so many different kinds of people. Like, go choose what you want, and you can literally create that too. And don't feel like just because you created a life in a certain way that you're committed to that forever and ever and ever. You know, God, universe, creator, whatever you want to call it, I believe created this earth with all these different climates and landscapes and sceneries and whatnot because they wanted us to choose like what's most amazing for us. That's available. I mean, I'm sure there was a time where that, even though that earth was still there, that abundance was there, we didn't have access to all the knowledge that we have now, the airplanes that we have now, so it was less available. But nowadays, it's so available. It's so available. I learned this lesson when I moved to Korea during COVID. All the things, you know, everything in, you know, society told me, oh, that's not possible. No one's traveling right now. It's very dangerous to travel because of COVID. It's actually impossible to leave the country. I don't even know if LAX is working. All I had to do was research. All I had to do was lean in with curiosity, like, what's the truth? Can I travel? If I wanted to travel, how do I make it happen? I learned that yes, LAX was open. Yes, there were still flights. Yes, all I had to do was I just had to figure it out. Like, I went to Korea, I quarantined for 14 days. You know, I weighed out the cost and the benefit of that. I'm stuck in California in a home anyway, so why the heck not? And I made it happen. And then people thought it was like mind-blowing that I was traveling at the time. I'm like, no, all I had to do was choose, research, and go for it and make it happen. There's always a way. And there's always an exception. There's always a way to create what you want. There's infinite possibilities in this world depending on what you want. You get to start thinking about how can I make this happen rather than, oh, that's not possible. Oh, that's unreasonable. Oh, that's just impossible. Let's start thinking about like what could be what could be available for you, and it gets so exciting. Life is so exciting. To go off of that, another thing is you can continue to put yourself in situations that's uncomfortable for you. I do this all the time. I lean into the difficult conversations. I lean into creating different experiences, and over time, I actually forget nowadays that traveling alone to a different country and choosing to live there is like such a big thing for people. They're like, how do you do it? I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, I'm like, I've done it a few times now that it doesn't even like occur to me as something that is dangerous or scary or unreasonable because I've done it a few times. But I forget that there was a time in my life where I thought that too. So the more that you put yourself in a situation where it's uncomfortable, weird, awkward, go for it, because life is short. Life does end. Sorry to remind you, you do die. That's the most inspiring talk ever. You will die. But that should be very inspirational, because that means that you will also live. And that means that you have the opportunity to create whatever you want while you're alive. And I invite you to take full, maximum chance at that, because why not? Why not? And at the end of the day, what people think about you, what people try to stop you from doing, what people judge you on, none of this will freaking matter. When you're on your deathbed, all that'll matter is what you felt, what you created, how much love you gave, how much love you received, what kind of impact you made, just the memories you made. And did you live true to yourself? And I think about this, for those of you who's just hopping on, I think about this on a daily basis. And I think that's one of my keys to staying happy, is one of the keys of staying peaceful, because at the end it doesn't matter. I mean, we have 8 billion people in the world. In 100 years, maybe 150, because people like Brian Johnson, who's like hacking all the, doing all the biohacking stuff to live to like 200 or whatever. Most of us, I will say 99.99999% of us, if not 100% of us, will be dead. And none of this will matter. And not saying be irresponsible, but be responsible about the life that you get to create, and have fun with it and go full for it, and do whatever that your heart truly desires without letting the fears or fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty, fear of success, fear of failure stop you. And me knowing that I get to live in that frequency alone makes me so excited to wake up every single day. So that was my rant. What's up, you guys? Welcome. If you're just joining, welcome. If you have any questions, hey, hi Jojo, good to see you. One of my old clients just hopped on. So good to see you. Hi Naomi, I don't know if you're still here. But anyway, so yeah, what other questions do you guys have? I probably will hop off soon. But just want to, say hello and have a chat. Maybe I'll do this every Saturday. I am actually thinking about, you want to join? I am actually thinking about, and I've been thinking about, and I actually have started for a little bit, starting a podcast. So that is coming soon. It's going to be called Soul Speak. I do actually have 2 episodes created already. One of them is me talking, doing a monologue, and kind of like this. And the second is actually I did an interview with one of my friends, Rob Angel, who is the founder of Pictionary. He tells this really cool story about how he was able to download this idea that became a multi-million-dollar game all around the world, and that's really cool. I need to publish that. That was a cool interview. So all of that is there, and I get to share it. So that will be coming soon. Other than that, if you guys have any other questions, do let me know. I'm gonna just finish eating my little dragon fruit here, which is definitely not little. It's the size of my face. But I hope you guys have a beautiful day. And if you're in Bali, happy Kuningan. I was just sharing. That is Bali's holiday here. So, just checking with some of these comments here, seeing if I missed anything. Thanks for joining, you guys. Maybe one of these days I'll do a little tour of my place. I love my place. I definitely think I manifested this place. I actually think my dad in heaven helped me find this place, because it's just so, it's perfect for me right now. I'm just so grateful every single morning. But anyways, all right, you guys, well, have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining, and I will definitely be on here more often. That's my little promise to you. And other than that, have a beautiful weekend. Sending you so much love. Bye, y'all.